What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, it's been barely believable that Kang is still going to be the villain of the Multiverse saga. I'm on record at the channel here as saying multiple times I think it's a much better move to steer into a different villain, only because Jonathan Majors will still hold a ton of connotation with the audience, and as soon as you recast Kang and bring him onto the forefront, then you're bringing up all the stuff that happened, and at least a huge contingency of fans who still think that Marvel and Disney should have never parted ways with Jonathan Majors in the first place, and that they should rehire him. Still, Daniel RPK has maintained we're going to find out who the first of possible many recasts for Kang the Conqueror is in the next couple of months, but today's scoop goes way beyond that. Today's scoop is absolutely nuts. It places Miguel O'Hara, that's right, played by Oscar Isaac over in Sony's Across the Spider-Verse animated trilogy. It teams his Spider-Man 2099 up with a variant of Kang from the MCU, and apparently when you would have to think this was Sony trying to push something like this, it was Sony who rejected it. And guys, honestly, if it were coming from any other source than where this actually broke, we probably wouldn't even cover this at the channel, but the fact that the source has such a high accuracy rating is why we're covering it. We're going to talk about where it came from, what he exactly said, what I think Sony and Marvel might have been up to here, and some of the major roadblocks that I see existing in order for this to happen. We're breaking it all down, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. The next one is right around the corner next month to coincide with the release of Deadpool and Wolverine. Again, all you got to do be a sub, leave a comment. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this latest scoop is actually coming from Cryptic HD Quality. You guys can follow him over on Twitter at Cryptic4KQual. He is probably the second most accurate source in the entire Marvel scoop game behind Daniel RPK. Their track records are absolutely insane for as many scoops as they've broken in the last couple of years, and this is the guy who in a couple of cases has even posted clips from official trailers before Marvel Studios has themselves. This is what he had to say in this morning's scoop. Quote, "Sony reject Miguel O'Hara forming an alliance with Kang. I heard Miguel O'Hara is still on the table and that there's a great possibility he could make a live action debut in the near future with a new team." And if it weren't immediately understandable how there could be a connection between these two characters, Cryptic HD Quality goes on to say this: Miguel's knowledge and experience with the multiverse from the Spider-Verse movies we've seen would have seen a Kang variant forming an alliance with him. Power for Kang, stability for Miguel. Some time back, I had heard that Marvel wanted this alliance, but Sony thought Miguel was a huge ask. I have to wonder if anybody sitting at the meeting brought up the fact that Oscar Isaac plays both characters. We'll get to that. Let's rewind the clock just a little bit though, because we had been hearing for years that Sony were interested in sort of getting their own Spider-Geddon off the ground, but we see how fantastic that has gone with Morbius and Madam Web, and actually at this point it doesn't really matter how well Venom and Kraven do, mostly because Venom is the last installment of that franchise, and because even if Kraven does well, it's going to be hard to make up any lost ground from Madam Web and the expectations set by movies like that and Morbius. Basically, I don't think they're ever making it to their Spider-Geddon. Now, I know that Tom Hardy real recently said they've got a Spider-Man over there in their universe, and I doubt it's this Spider-Man 2099 variant and from Across the Spider-Verse. Very personally, I think that they should leave this completely alone because the Across the Spider-Verse trilogy has been so amazing thus far. We're probably still a year or so off from the animated conclusion to that, maybe even longer, and just let it be its own thing. Yes, I know during the second movie they sort of showed us a world tree and started to tie this over to the MCU with the appearance of Donald Glover's Prowler, and maybe even one step deeper than that with the way that they showed the world tree and recently the events of what happened with Loki. Obviously there are still Kang variants in the multiverse, as we've heard from industry insiders like Daniel RPK, and they're going to cast multiple actors to play him. Maybe the idea was, while they're at it, they do a tie-in with Sony for maybe their third Spider-Verse movie. So when I hear that Sony has rejected this, that's what it sort of makes me think, that they've got a plan that they're already set with those films, and they're not going to mess with that to simply make an MCU tie-in, which, if my theory here is true, congratulations Sony, that's how you do it. Don't mess up your masterpiece. But this would solve one other little problem if their plan was to introduce Spider-Man 2099 live action and not have him be the one from the Spider-Verse, because the one from the Spider-Verse happens to be Oscar Isaac, who's already playing Moon Knight in the MCU, and this is why I rant all the time about them not giving these roles to like the same 5 actors. It's one thing for him to be voicing 2099 and playing Moon Knight in the MCU, it's another thing entirely for him to be doing a live action Spider-Man 2099 and on screen with Moon Knight. I think you just break these up, and if you want to do Spider-Man 2099 live action? You just recast the character, right? Well, you know, there's one small hitch here. It might feel like Marvel Studios extending Sony an olive branch, saying, hey, your chance of doing some Spider-Geddon is off of the table, but why don't you come over and let some of your characters feature in the MCU? Isn't as much of an olive branch as you would think. In fact, it just sounds like a lot more of the same. Why do you think we haven't seen Spider-Man in any of Sony's Spider-Man Rogues Gallery movies? Because whatever is going on in that contract that has Tom Holland's Peter Parker in the MCU is precluding Sony from putting a Spider-Man in their live-action movies. There's no other reason. There's no other explainer than this. And so maybe it's just a twinge of Sony being like, look, you've already locked us out for this long. Why don't we not continue down that slippery slope? And you have to wonder how much more this is complicated by the fact that Sony wants to fast-track Spider-Man 4 and start filming for that film right at the exact same time that they're going to start filming and on Avengers 5. And I'm sure Marvel Studios wants Spider-Man to be in Avengers 5, but they might not have the contract for that done. Sony might not have the plans to get going on Spider-Man 4. They're trying to work this out all at once. You can see why there are a ton of asks on either side. And, you know, while it sounds crazy to think that Sony be rejecting Marvel on anything at this point, I totally understand. And quite honestly, Marvel, you have enough characters you've been neglecting for the last 4 or 5 years, like Scar and Eros. Go focus on bringing those characters back. You don't need Spider-Man 2099 and part of a new team and a live-action cameo and anytime soon in the MCU. You also don't need him teaming up with Kang. Y'all don't need to do Kang anyway. Just switch into Doctor Doom or the Beyonder or something like that. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below. As always, how crazy is this scoop? Would you have wanted to see this in the first place? And do you agree with me, Spider-Man 2099, totally unnecessary? I'm all ears. As always, quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right, guys. We give away PlayStation 5s here at the channel. We're also going to start doing some ticket giveaways for Deadpool and Wolverine, which is essentially just a Visa gift card in order for you to get a couple of tickets to go see it. All the giveaways will always have live announcements at the end of videos with my voice and the winning comments shown on screen, so please be safe and vigilant. The best way to keep up with the channel, of course, is always to hit the notification bell, but all you got to do to be entered to win is super simple. Just make sure you're a subscriber, so hit the sub button, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on here at the channel, the better chance you have of winning. It's not any harder than that. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places as always, Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. I also make original music under the name Allfires, hence the AKA at the beginning of the video. You can find Allfires on all platforms, so Spotify, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to music, I'm on there as Allfires. I would sincerely appreciate you guys checking it out, because the few of you that do, you have no idea how many wonders that has done for the algorithm. Cannot thank you enough for helping me build my music. Just you guys clicking on it, whether you like it or not, sends it out to the people in the algos that actually want to hear it. And for your support, I can't thank you enough. So thank you for your support there. Thank you for your support here. Make sure to hit the sub button, hit the like button, leave a comment. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.